Friends, welcome. We have a great topic: research, publication, and ethics. It's a very interesting for me for one simple reason that it relates to education. Education is the tool of making minds, making people, making the society. Education begins from home when child starts learning from watching the environment, the parents, and all those interact. But the real culmination of this education is when the seeker or the scholar joins the institutions of higher learning and seeks to do research and, of course, acquire certification as a PhD or thereafter. For me, this topic is important because education is key to making the society. This period, the period of Kali Yuga, has taught us many things, but most important, this world is created by a creator called God, Sadashiv, Paramatma, whatever else we like. Whatever we like, that's God. God is the one who is the creator of everything. But we human beings think we are the creators. The reality is we are only the users. We have freedom of action and we can make the world around us the way we live, the way we act, and the way we think. In this background, research, publications, and ethics, all three are very important topics. Research, because a scholar goes to do research for various reasons. It could be own satisfaction, it could be to add to the knowledge base in the world, it could be to find solution to some unknown problem, and various other things. But ultimate goal of the research is to search for something which is not immediately available. And that is the key to research. Research is not duplication, it's not copy-paste. Research is doing the original research work to identify a problem which is not solved and which is of utmost importance to the society and the life, and find a solution to it. That's the key to research. There are regulations since in our world for certification, for it also assessing whether the work done is up to the mark or not. There are regulations, and one of the requirement is the publication. Publication serves two great purposes. First, it helps the researcher to compile all that which has been done and check by showing to experts and showing to the peers what has been done so far. Second, it helps in assessing whether the path taken forward is correct or not correct. And both in this aspect of publication and the research, ethics have a key role to play. Ethics, probably the most subjective, but is still an objective reality, because our world exists and we live. Ethics define the rules to judge between the good and the bad. Ethics define the rules whether it is acceptable or not acceptable. Ethics define the values behind the work being done. Ethics define the moral ground or background on which the work is being done. In the academic world, to ensure that the ethics are followed, there are well-defined regulations which say what are the do's and what are the do-nots. Plagiarism is one of the popular ones, which had been there for all times to come. But even today, in 2019-20, UGC has to issue another regulation called self-plagiarism. Why? Because the missing link, ethics, has brought a state probably where the use of pre-published or self-published material as original work is not acceptable. Therefore, whenever we have to use any work, whether work done by us or work done by somebody else, it is expected that we will be honest, we will have the integrity to say what we have done and where from we have done, and express it in various words acceptable to the regulations. This is the key to research, publications, and ethics. But one very important fact, which I think we all need to understand, that this is a culmination of the academic achievements. Research, publication, and its certification empowers a researcher or a scholar with a certification which makes them knowledgeable for some purpose, which makes them respected in the society, that these are their basic minimum achievements and they will be doing much more than that. And it is here that the ethics are very, very relevant. Today, UGC has defined PhD as a mandatory requirement for becoming a professor. Every human being needs a career, and those who have come to academics also want to grow. Therefore, rules are very fine. From day one, everybody is given the rank of a assistant professor, which is basically, assistant is forgotten. Mostly we call them professors only. But the fact remains, the professorship is a reward which comes after great contribution and experience. Just by joining a profession, we don't become professor. Just by being granted appointment letter that we are assistant professor, associate, or professor, we don't become professor. Professor has to be a person who prophesizes truth, who stands with truth, who teaches the truth, who teaches what he or she himself or herself has tested, checked, established, and confirmed that it is the correct thing to do. It is the right thing to do. It is the right thing to say. And it is in this context that the role of research, publications, and ethics has become very, very critical. Regulations say that PhD is necessary. But can everybody do PhD, or can everybody do research? And hence there is a rate race to acquire degrees by whatever methods possible. This is where the ethics come to fore. If all those who are helping, whether they are the thesis writers or they are publication writers or publishers, or guides or scholars themselves who are involved in the activity, Please understand, buying a certificate, faking a certificate, is faking the ground on which you are standing. It is faking the basic foundation of education. The state of education is too well known to everyone today. This rat race for acquiring certificates, degrees, particularly PhD for getting promotion and appointments, is killing education. Education, rather than becoming a tool of making human minds, is becoming a tool of creating evil in the society. The consequences are corona in front of us. I recall when I was working in that area, of course I'm working even today, not that I had given up, I came across a publication which said that a Chinese scientist has created twins in the lab, of course using the normal process of tinkling with the genetic code, generating the fetus and putting it in the womb for further growth. Right? When this happened, all the scientists in the world cried, it is wrong, it is unethical. Leaders also talked of it. But what happened? When too much sound was made, probably that scientist was put under house arrest or somewhere in oblivion for some time. But activities of tinkering with the genetic code without knowing the consequences continued. This was because faking and doing wrong things, unethical things, had become a way of life. Therefore, ethics are important. If we do not follow ethics, if we do not know ethics, research, publication, today there are places which take money and publish anything for you. There are people who do research for you, who write papers for you, who write theses for you, for money. And they are all academicians, researchers. But please understand, by faking a thing which can become a poison tomorrow is something which has to be taken care of. The genie in the bottle, when it comes out, becomes corona. This is exactly what is in front of us. Ethics had been put to the side. Doing something, getting accolades, getting publicity, getting fame, getting money becomes the yardstick, and the world pays the price of it. Therefore, to cut short, because I'm also looking forward to listen to our experts, my basic request is we must not forget the ethics. Ethics come from moral values, and the values come from our soul. Unfortunately, we all in the society have learned to forgive those who develop fake values, pseudo values, fake morality, pseudo morality, and fake ethics and pseudo ethics. It's a poison we spread which will kill sooner or later. Fake degree market, fake PhD market, okay, so long it doesn't harm the society. But sooner or later, somewhere Wuhan type of place, some unethical people can cause havoc to the society. Therefore, to conclude, education is the tool of making society. All stakeholders, the regulator, the service provider, the teachers, the scholars, all need to please understand education is for creating good minds, but evil also lurks around us. If we do not have good ethics, we do not follow values, evil will take over the system. With these few words, I wish all learn the value of ethics and do research and publications, keeping fundamentals of life in view. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. God bless all. Thank you.